Welcome to another episode of Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, again joined via Zoom by Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. The Rangers are out to a 3-1 start and now an even 1-1 in district play following a 34-7 win on the road over Clemens this past week. Coach, as we start the show, let's look back at the start of the game. Windy conditions made it kind of tough for Clemens to field the football on the opening kickoff, and because of the issues they had, you recovered a fumble, scored 3 plays later to take an early 6-0 lead. Just how big was that start of the game for you?
Well, it was real big. Anytime you get a turnover, of course, in a highly competitive game, you're doing well. But we're kicking off into the wind, blue kick. The kid mishandled it, and we were able to recover it. So we stole a possession there. We got an extra possession, or they lost a possession, however you want to say it. And we had a short field. You know, we had the ball on the 30-yard line or so, and we were able to capitalize. You know, we didn't have to settle for a field goal or get turned away. We went down and scored. So still a lot of football left to be played, but that was huge to start the game. And, you know, we were able to it certainly wasn't the end of the game, but it gave us a great start.
To Clemens' credit, the Buffaloes bounced back. They scored on their third possession of the game to take a 7-6 lead, and it kind of felt like, okay, here we go. This is going to set the stage for a down-to-the-wire kind of game, but defensively, you wouldn't let that happen. Clemens did not score again after that. You held the Buffaloes to under 200 yards of offense, really kept Max DiDomenico in check, the Clemens quarterback. You intercepted him twice in the second half. Defensively, how impressed were you with your football team?
Well, I thought our players and our defensive staff, our coaches, really rose to the occasion. You mentioned the 3-year starter at quarterback, and then their fleet of receivers and good running backs, and they've been very explosive. They've been able to score from anywhere on the field, whether it's through the design of the play or can he use his feet and extend the play 10, 12, 15 seconds and then find people open downfield. We're able to limit that. We track explosive plays, and we gave up 2. And if you told me before the game you'll limit Clemens to 2 explosive plays, I'm not sure I'd have believed you. I'd have been happy, but I'm not sure I'd have believed you. But our defense played well, very solid. Didn't give up the big plays, as we mentioned, and didn't stop him completely, but for the most part contained him, and that was really the key to the ball game.
I think it's fair to say that you don't run an air raid style of offense. You're not going to throw the football 30 or 40 times, but with the windy conditions, you definitely wanted to make a concerted effort to run the football more than pass it, and you ran it very effectively this past week as you dedicated your offense to the ground game. Looking at Jalen Nutt in particular, over 130 yards rushing for him, 4 touchdowns for your quarterback. Looking at the ability for you to run the football, why do you feel as if you were so effective this past week?
Well, you mentioned the conditions. 2 of the 4 quarters are going to be very difficult to throw the ball, particularly up the field for either team. And then at the same time, they had the potential explosive offense that we would like to keep off the field by maintaining possession of the ball ourselves. And our offensive line's playing at a high level, and so we don't necessarily go into a game saying we're going to run this many times or pass this many times. We try to take what's there. But there's no question early in the game we were able to establish a line of scrimmage, and we rode the running game a little bit more maybe than we normally might. But we made some timely throws when we needed it and had some throws and catches. And, we want to be able to do both when we need to do it. And I thought last Friday night we were.
2020 being what it is, everybody keeps having to shuffle the deck. In the case of your football team, it's schedule. As now the entire schedule has been altered a little bit. You were scheduled to play New Braunfels a couple of weeks ago. That game got pushed back. It'll come later in the season. So your bye week came a lot sooner than expected. Did it come for you, though, at a good time? Was there a silver lining to that? Did it give you a chance to rest and regroup and have better preparation ahead of the Clemens game?
Well, not really. I mean, if we had found out that the New Braunfels game was going to be postponed earlier in the week, then we might have used that a little bit more like an open week. Schedule in some off time for our players, a little rest and recoup time. Maybe look ahead to Clemens and begin to prep for them. But, by not finding out about the postponement until the morning of the game, we had spent all week practicing like normal, and all that preparation was geared towards New Braunfels. So we got no extra time on Clemens. Our kids came in Monday and we got started on them. So, and as far as getting rest and recovery time, we didn't. We practiced all week. So it really wasn't an open week. It was in the sense that we didn't play a game, but as far as time off and preparation, it's as though we played the game. And then what would have been our open week coming up is now going to go away, because that's when the New Braunfels game will be rescheduled. So it's been a long year, and we're not going to get an open week like you normally might. But that's the way it is. Everything's pretty wacky in 2020, not just in the world of football. And but we've adjusted and we're moving on.
And again, the Rangers coming off a big win over the Buffaloes, 34-7 this past week, as they improved their district record to 1-1. Plenty of big plays for the Rangers. This past Friday, Coach Hill takes us through this week's plays of the week.
There are a bunch of them, but let's pick a few and let's go look at them now. Our first big play is an offensive touchdown. It's on the fourth play of the game. We got a big kick recovery on the opening kickoff, and one or two plays later, we're down on the goal line ready to score. And we're going to focus on a touchdown run by Jalen Nutt, our quarterback. First, we're going to focus on our left side over here. This is Gerald Van Sickle on the first arrow on the left, and Ryan Bink, our left tackle, that's on there on the right. And so you watch as the play unfolds, watch what they do to the defensive tackle. You see where he's lined up now, and now you look where he's at. He's inside the hash. And then our fullback, Brandon Salvaggio, is doing the same thing with the defensive end. So what has been created here is a push. You can see the box has moved all the way to the other hash. The size of hole Jalen's going to get a chance to run through. Then we get two blocks, one by our pulling guard, Colton Thomason, and then a pin block by our tight end, junior, Dylan Gomel. We pin the outside folks inside, so Jalen takes it outside now, and then he gets a block from the man he originally faked to, sophomore Chase Senelick, and he's into the end zone for an easy touchdown. Well-executed play to give us an early lead. Okay, then a big play. We're trailing 7-6 at this point, and Clemens is up near midfield and faces a 4th and 1. This is a crucial juncture of the ball game, still in the second quarter. Clemens comes to the line of scrimmage. They use a false cadence. We don't jump off sides on 4th and 1. You can see their quarterback looking to the bench. Coach, what do you want me to do? Well, we're going to move up under center and pretend to run the quarterback sneak. And you can see our middle linebacker, Darlington Frash, moves up to defend that. Turns out they're still trying to bait us into jumping off sides. We do not. Their quarterback looks back to the bench, gets his marching orders, and they're going to come back and actually run a play. Darlington gets us into a call defensively. He moves up, and if you watch the push that he and our two defensive tackles, Luke Seminaro, Nathan Herring, get tremendous push in the middle, and our two ends, Gavin Woods and Trey Moore, closing from the outside, just create a massive humanity there. Not only do they not pick up the yard they need, end up losing a yard, just a tremendous momentum swing, and made by our defense, starting with Darlington Frash, and we go down and score and take the lead that we never relinquish. The next big play is another defensive play. We're going to focus on Noah Flores. Noah's one of our senior cornerbacks. He's got a circle around him there at the top of the screen. Another big play on a crucial third down in the third quarter. You can see that we're faking blitz. We've got the line there showing that we're showing a potential 6-man blitz. Not actually going to do that, but we force him to get rid of the ball quickly. And when he does, you can see Noah gets a tremendous jump on the football, undercuts the route, intercepts it at its high point. Not only does he intercept it, but creates a lot of enthusiasm and energy in the stadium, and keeps the momentum in our favor. From the rear, you can see what happens up front. Malachi Lane, number 22, and Darlington Frash, number 2 inside. They're showing blitz. Meanwhile, our defensive ends are stand-up ends and wide ends. That's Trey Moore on the left, Gavin Woods, another defense on the right. So we're showing a 6-man pressure, not necessarily going to bring all 6, but trying to create some indecision on the offense. Who is coming, and do I need to get rid of this ball quick? You'll see Darlington actually drop out of there. Here comes the others, and then Trey, as he's so good at doing, elevates, gets just a piece of that ball, and it flutters, and then Noah comes up undercuts as we saw, high points. That thing makes an acrobatic catch on our sideline, turns the game in our favor, and we go on to win from there. And those are our plays of the week.
Now, Coach, two of those plays for you, a touchdown run for Jalen Nutt, a fourth down stop. I wanted to highlight those two because I think it really illustrated your ability to control the line of scrimmage from this past Friday. Again, your offensive ground game was very effective as a team. You ran for more than 240 yards, a big chunk of that, of course, courtesy of your quarterback, Jalen Nutt. And defensively, really limited Clemens' ability to establish the run effectively when they had the football. How do you feel as if your team handled the trenches this past Friday?
Well, I thought that was a key to the game. I thought both our defensive front stopping their run, as you mentioned, and making it to where they were primarily throwing the ball and then containing the quarterback and occasionally getting a few sacks, timely sacks. So I thought they were the key to our defense. And then up front offensively, as we ran the ball fairly well early on, but I thought as the game went on, they began to wear them down a little bit. And we went on about an 8-minute drive to end the game for our final touchdown, which not only took a bunch of clock up, got us toward the end of the game, but then spiked one more in the end zone there to put the game away. So credit those guys up front on both sides of the ball who normally don't get much credit.
Well, Smithson Valley has got a win over Clemens. Up next for the Rangers, the South San Bobcats. A game we'll preview coming up along with a look at this week's Rangers trivia right after this on Inside Rangers Football.
A whole lot of things have changed over the past few months, but some things have stayed just the same. Here at Smithson Valley, we are still making your kids smile. You may not see that as easily with those masks on, but those smiles are just beneath. And when all this passes, and it will, you'll really be reminded of how we just keep making them smile. Thank you for your trust and support, and get your guns up.
Hi, I'm Kelly Irwin. Sage Capital Bank is proud to partner with Comel ISD in supporting our community, families, and students. Go Rangers!
Hi, I'm Donna. I'm so excited to welcome Dermatology San Antonio to Smithson Valley.
I think we made a great decision.
You know, you have a beautiful office, but I brought a few things that I think you're really gonna like.
Donna?
Principal Wall, are you here to welcome Dermatology San Antonio to Smithson Valley as well?
No, I'm here for my 3 o'clock Diamond Glow facial.
Principal Wall.
This week in Rangers trivia, Thursday's game against South San, it won't be the first time that the Rangers will have faced the Bobcats. The two have actually played each other before, but it's been a while. When is the last time that Smithson Valley faced off against South San? Is the answer A, 2001, B, 1998, or C, 1995? The answer is A, 2001. The Rangers swept the two games from the Bobcats in the 2000 and 2001 seasons, a non-district home-and-home between the two schools 20 years ago. Smithson Valley won those games by scores of 40-16 and 49-13. That's right. The last time the Rangers faced the Bobcats was 19 years ago, back in 2001. Coach, I know you have this great memory, so what do you recall about that game back in 01?
Well, it was a long time ago. I was younger then, but it was a non-district game, late in the non-district schedule, and they were on a pretty good run there. I think they had a 10-0 season maybe the year before, and we played over there. Clint Haney had some big runs, and we threw the ball to him a little bit as well. And it's kind of a back-and-forth game, but we pulled away in the second half and rode the momentum into district and eventually all the way to the state championship game. So hopefully we can get that kind of performance again.
Well, as we said earlier in the show, 2020 has made things a lot more difficult for a number of reasons, certainly. Everybody's been impacted. Nobody's been immune, and that includes South San. The Bobcats have yet to play a game this season. While you've already played 4, this will be the Bobcats season opener. Technically, the record is 0-1 as they had to forfeit a game against Judson last week as they were not prepared to play a game yet. So you will serve as the Bobcats season opener. Coach, this is the fourth opponent you will have played this year that is opening up its season. Before we get into the preview of the Bobcats themselves, how bizarre is that fact?
Well, it is bizarre, and it makes it tough. Everybody says, oh, well, you have an advantage because you've played a game or a couple of games. That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is we don't really know a whole lot about them. It's a fourth opponent out of five that we don't know a whole lot about. In some cases, we had a scrimmage tape. Some cases, we had no tape. And so we're going into the game wondering, what style of offense and defense are they going to employ? And that makes it tough when you're preparation-minded, yet you don't feel like you can prepare adequately. And that is certainly the case this year with South San. Here we are playing our fifth ball game. They have not played nor scrimmaged. And when it's time to trade tape, they have no tape. They have no tape to trade. So what are they going to run offensively and defensively? Well, you're probably going to have to come to the stadium at 7 o'clock Thursday night and find out with the rest of us.
So when district realignment happened and you lost San Marcos and Canyon, you gained Wagner, and Wagner's a team you've had a lot of history with. South San, again, is not one that you do have a lot of history with. We mentioned the last meeting was 19 years ago. So learning more about this Bobcat team, they were a 4-win team last year, playing in the NEISD district with the likes of Reagan and Madison. Very difficult district, and the Bobcats struggled in it. They are new to the district this year. Now you look at the numbers from a year ago. The Bobcats were more of a running team than they were a team that would like to pass the football. But I know the roster's changed so much from one year to the next, no matter who you play. So you mentioned not having tape on South San. Can you go back and look at what they did last year to have an idea as what it is they would like to do?
Well, no, because they made a head coaching change in June. So, they were very effective running that Navy, Army, Wagner style of offense, very option-oriented, never see it, now you got to defend it style of offense. And they won 2 or 3 district ball games, had a couple other district games against Reagan and Churchill that went right down to the wire. So very competitive in a tough league and running an off-schedule style of offense. And then they have a coaching change in June. They bring a coach in from the outside. So will they maintain that style of offense or defense, or will new coordinators come in with him and we see a new style of offense and defense? Well, maybe we ought to go back to the school that he came from and look what style of offense and defense they ran there. Well, again, possibly. Or will they be a mix and match? So no tape, new coach. They're running the old style, the new style, or some style in between. Don't know. You and everybody watching this episode know as much about what they're going to do as I do. And that's a little unnerving for people who like to be on top of things.
And Coach, on top of all that, this is a short week for you as well. You just played Friday. You're playing Thursday. The good news is that moving on from here on out, you're going to be playing a Thursday game again next week too. So you have a full week of preparation for next Thursday's game. But talking about this one specifically, one fewer day, one less day to get ready for the opponent. So on top of South San not having played a game this season, a new coaching staff, a lot of the unknown in a short week, just how challenging is the preparation for the game against the Bobcats?
It is. You like to prepare. You like to be very, no stone unturned approach to everything, but you don't know what stones to pick up. You don't. So to some extent, it's comforting. Let's go. Let's have a short week, prepare the best we can. Very generic, very general preparations. Able to adjust to whatever set maybe they bring, maybe able to block whatever front they come. Just kind of that, not necessarily a game plan normally geared toward a specific opponent or set of strategy. And so never really done that before in all my years. But Thursday at 7, we're going to go out there and try to do our best. And my guess is we'll have to do a lot of adjusting on the fly in every phase of the game. Well,
again, Smithson Valley taking on South San this Thursday at 7 o'clock at Ranger Stadium. A game we'll have for you right here on the Rangers Network. Coach, best of luck against the Bobcats.
Appreciate it, Brand. Thank you.
For head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you next time.